I'm Maureen, 54, divorced for nearly a decade. The kind of woman who once believed that love came with an expiration date. I tucked my heart away, filed neatly beside grocery receipts and faded movie stubs, convincing myself that quiet nights and familiar reruns were safer than the unpredictable tug of longing. But as I sit here now, sharing this, I can feel the faint breath of fate brushing against my neck. I whisper this to you. I never imagined something like this would happen. Please don't make the same mistake I did. It started on one of those soft spring evenings when the walls of the house seemed to exhale with the day's warmth. I'd showered early and changed into my favorite pajama set, pale blue cotton with little cream moons stitched along the hem. Wrapped in a cozy throw blanket, I sank into the couch with a mug of tea and a rerun of an old crime show playing in the background. Only a single lamp was on, casting mellow golden tones across the floor. Outside, crickets hummed, and a neighbor's wind chime sent faint jingles through the still air. Just as I reached for my mug, a sharp knock shattered the quiet. I jumped, sloshing tea onto the blanket. No one knocked on my door this late. My mind darted to my daughter miles away. Was something wrong? I shuffled to the door in slippers, brushing hair from my eyes, my heart thudding a strange rhythm of concern and curiosity. Through the peephole I saw him, Elijah, the son of my old friend Denise. He stood under the porch light, tall and hunched slightly forward, like he was weighed down by more than just the worn backpack slung over his shoulder. He was 22 now. I remembered him as a messy little kid with scraped knees and sticky fingers, running barefoot across my backyard. But the man in front of me looked older. Trouble clung to him. Tired eyes, a taut jaw, like he'd been carrying something heavy for far too long. Elijah! I opened the door, surprised. Sweetheart, are you okay? He let out a shaky breath. Hi, Ms. Hale. Sorry it's late. I didn't know where else to go. His words made my chest loosen and tighten all at once. Come in, I said, stepping aside. You're always welcome here. As he crossed the threshold, a cool gust followed him in, scented faintly with the lilacs blooming outside. He placed his bag gently by the hall table, running a hand through damp hair, droplets catching in the light. His eyes were red-rimmed. It didn't take much to know he'd been close to tears. The room, so quiet just moments before, now seemed charged, like the air had shifted, humming low with something I didn't yet understand. Sit, I told him softly, motioning toward the sofa as I tucked the damp blanket aside. Tell me what's going on. He hesitated, then perched on the edge of the cushion, leaning forward, his elbows on his knees. He stared blankly at the muted TV screen, his features washed in flickering blues. It's everything, he said, his voice rough. Mom and I fought. I left before I said something I'd regret. I couldn't go back to my place. My roommates, he shrugged. It's just complicated. You did the right thing coming here, I said, settling beside him with a respectful space between us. Sometimes distance helps before the right words come. He glanced at me and his eyes, those warm, shifting hazels, caught the light. I always felt safe here, even as a kid. Remember when you patched up my knee after I fell out of the swing? He smiled, small and unsteady. Guess I needed that feeling again. The memory came back vividly. I could smell the summer air, hear Denise laughing nearby while I cleaned a scrape and promised the sting would pass. I reached out and laid my hand lightly on his arm. You've still got that. You're not alone. That simple touch seemed to loosen something in him. His shoulders dropped slightly. He let out a sigh so deep it was almost a surrender. But behind that release was a current. Something unexpected and alive. A flicker of connection neither of us had seen coming. We talked then, quietly, while the show continued in the background, its voices distant. He spoke of feeling directionless after graduation, the pressure to chase paths that didn't fit him. I asked gentle questions, listening more than offering advice. He opened up freely, and in that ease I saw his real self, uncertain but searching. At some point I shared things too. How I once traded passion for security. How the years sneak past while you forget to ask what truly stirs you. The clock edged past midnight. Rain tapped lightly on the roof, wrapping the house in a soft hush. A yawn escaped him. His hands trembled from exhaustion. "You can sleep in the guest room," I offered. "Clean sheets, fresh towel. We'll talk more tomorrow." His relief showed in his eyes. "Thanks. Really?" We both stood. For a second, we faced each other in the dim glow. Two people separated by decades but tied by something unseen. He opened his arms instinctively, and I stepped in, meaning it only as comfort. But warmth bloomed in my chest and my heart raced, just slightly. When we parted, something unspoken fluttered in the air between us. He whispered a good night and disappeared down the hallway. I watched until his door clicked shut. The room felt different now. Off balance. The tea had gone cold, and the TV had long stopped. I wrapped the blanket tighter, the hush pressing in. By morning, golden light spilled across the floors. I hadn't slept. My mind had replayed every glance, every word. In the kitchen, coffee in hand, I stood barefoot, robe over soft pajamas, not quite ready for the day. The guest room door creaked open. Elijah stepped out, hair tousled, shirt sleeve half rolled. "Morning," he said, voice gravelly. "Morning. Coffee?" He nodded and slid onto a stool. We sipped in a quiet made easier by the scent of rain and warm cream. "I didn't mean to complicate things," he said, looking at his mug. "You've always been the one adult I felt I could talk to, without judgment." That touched something deep in me. There's a gentle danger in being seen as safe, especially when a boy you've known starts talking to you like a man. "I'm glad you came," I said honestly. We talked more over breakfast. He shared his dream of being a photographer, something his mom dismissed. She wants finance. But with a camera in my hand, I actually feel me. I understood far too well. "I used to want to write," I confessed. "Before I married, before everything became casseroles and utility bills." He looked at me, really looked, and said, "But you're still here. Still you." I couldn't speak. So I smiled and gently rested my hand over his. He left that afternoon with a hug that lingered just long enough. The house echoed differently after the door shut behind him. Over the next few days we messaged. Just small things. Picture he took. An update about Denise. I told myself it was harmless. A week later he texted, "Mind if I stop by? Need a breather?" I didn't hesitate this time. Course. Anytime. It changed before he came. Nothing bold, just jeans that fit well, a soft olive top. Presentable, I told myself. He arrived with Thai takeout and a bottle of red. We sat on the sofa, closer this time. Conversation flowed again, easier than it should have. He showed me a photo, a woman on a park bench, black and white, vulnerable. "It reminded me of you," he said. Froze. Sure. But I saw the truth in his eyes, and warmth crept across my skin. At the door he asked, "Do you think we're drawn to people, even if we're not supposed to be?" I whispered, "I think sometimes someone reflects parts of us we forgot were there." He understood. Darren came home 2 days later. Kissed my cheek. Told me he missed me. We went about our normal routine, but I was no longer the same. Eventually I told him the truth. Not about Ray exactly, but about the ache. About feeling invisible. About how numb I'd become. To my surprise he listened. Took my hand. Told me he'd felt it too. We talked that night for the first time in years. Really talked. It wasn't perfect, but it was honest. And sometimes that's the start of something better. I never texted Ray again. I didn't need to. What happened wasn't about infidelity. It wasn't about crossing lines. It was about being reminded that I still existed. And that changed everything.